Okay, folks. So today is Wednesday, and we're talking about the philosophical topics in the software design. And yesterday was the day of International Day of People with the Disabilities, and actually, I have the disability, and but today we'll talk not about this. Today we'll talk about the limits and scalability, but from philosophical and a bit different angle, because we business finally learn, and it was not always like that to scale the systems you need resources and people that know how to scale it, and the problems with the scalability of the uh, informational and software systems could create the revenue loss and the problems with the scalability of the business itself. So we'll learn it for sure. And we have a lot of software design interviews and all other things, and I try to create this puzzle for the people that we have the hundreds of thousands and millions requests per second and what you should do. And we all know that maybe the single instance and single database is not enough, and we know the physical limits of different software system and hardware that we could not simply bypass. Sometimes we could scale with adding more resources to the machines, but we decided to go with the different ways of the containers and scale amount of the containers and all these things. And it's the huge universe that we could talk about hours. But when we start talking about the people, somehow we still ignore the fact that people and organizations and the teams, they all, as a structures of the humans, they have the limits. They have the physical limits, they have the psychological limits, they have the cognitive ability limits, and all other things. And actually, the job of the software architect, as same as any kind of technical leader, it's taking into the account this physical and psychological and cognitive limits that we have. And somehow the business still ignore, and a lot of organizations ignore the fact that, the most fragile part of the systems is humans. Because, you could not add a bit more operational memory to the person, or you could not change his hard drive to SSD. Yeah, and maybe in terms of scalability, you could not easily replace the person. So to make the people replaceable, you need to build some process, yeah, right? That you need to onboard them, you need to give them the same amount of knowledge, but you could expect from them some certain level of the skills. And then we see that to make the scalable organization that take to the account the people factor, we need the processes. We need the processes that eliminates the people limits and weaknesses. And and why I start talking about this in a context of the International Day of the People with the Disabilities, that even neurotypical healthy people that doesn't have the challenges with the health or mental health or whatever, they have own limits, and even different people have the different limits. It really depends on their physical, mental state, on their life conditions, on their personal conditions, and all of the things. And when we're talking about the people with the special needs, it's visible, but the biggest challenge of the organizations and teams that, if your server is not handling the load, it just goes broken and give you back the errors. With the people, it doesn't work this way. People are flexible, people are struggle, people not always giving the back the feedback, and they try to stretch. They get more and more ineffective. Maybe the biggest challenge of other modern organizations since the COVID arrived is a burnout, and I'm a post burnout person also. So the people just not giving you the error back quite often. They just continue operate to the point when they could not operate anymore, and they just gets completely ineffective, and maybe they even create more harm than provide you the value. And I want to talk about the different kind of the scalability of the organization, the scalability of the teams, and scalability of the platform itself. And when we talk about the scalability of the individuals, actually, so it's all about, managing the cognitive load, lowering the stress levels. No, the stress not driving the teams, and the challenges is not, wow, cool, let's do it, and so on. We need to talk honestly about the toxic positivity, about the ignoring the limits, about the ignoring the facts that no stress not making people better. They not making the better decisions. We need to properly plan as organizations. We need to make sure that we don't have the hiring mistakes, that we place the right people with the right skills on the right positions, and it's work in a both ways. You could have the very smart guy that doing some junior tasks or acting like the mixture of the tester and DevOps, or vice versa. You could get quite a junior person and have some expectations that they will act like leaders in an industry with the 25 years of experience and so on. So to be scalable, we really need to remove a lot of factors that killing the people, and load actually killing the people, the cognitive load killing the people, the stress killing the people, and the communication, especially the transparency, or let's say the absence of the transparency, quite often make teams ineffective. And we all know the Conway law, right? So that we mimic our architectural, our organizational structure in our architecture. So we need to start from the people fast, and it should not be the empty sound or some marketing or advertisement for the HR department. It should be our own motto to make the people scalable. And we talk about this more and more. That's all that I was keen to share with you. Choose.